We have Mary Kate with us. We are really excited to have her on here. This is the first time she's done an interview with us. She's new to the whole online craziness this year, so we're just going to just throw her in the deep end. Thank you so much for being here with us, and
Thanks
for
for
all that
having
you
me.
do for the charity too. But we're going to talk about when you first heard about CDH and how you became involved in this whole world.
Well, we first heard about it when I was pregnant with my baby girl Peyton, and we got diagnosed at our 20-week anatomy scan, and that was February 14th, 2018. So it was just over a year ago. Um, we were very nervous. I'm pretty sure I cried, and I don't even remember what happened, but um, they told us that her stomach was in her abdomen, or her stomach was in her chest, and I immediately knew that there was something wrong. The sonographer didn't say anything. She said, I need to go get a doctor. Then after that, my doctor came in and she said, your daughter has a congenital diaphragmatic hernia. And then she said that I needed to be transferred to a specialist in Kansas City at Children's Mercy Fetal Health Center. So that is where our journey started.
Okay. Um, I'm just gonna let you keep talking and tell your
Okay.
stories. You go.
um, a lot of people at the Fetal Health Center normally have to wait up to like 2 or 3 weeks to even get seen. But I don't know how my doctor did it, but she pulled some strings and got me in that afternoon. I'm gonna start crying. Um, Unfortunately, my husband couldn't come with me because he had to work and he was already needing to go back. So my dad drove me up there, and we spent, God, probably 4 hours up there. 2 hours was just watching her and getting measurements that they needed. And then we had to sit down with the doctor. His name is Dr. Bennett. He's fantastic. He is actually the Fetal Health Center director up there. And he told us that he for sure could see that her bowels and her stomach were up. And he couldn't tell if her liver was up because her actual gestation age was 17 weeks. So my original OB was off by a few weeks. So she was the um, youngest one that they've ever diagnosed. So they had to put off a few of my tests. I couldn't get an MRI until 19 weeks. So I had to wait 2 weeks for that. But they were able to get me in for an amniocentesis and the heart echo within a few weeks. Then after that, after we got the MRI done and everything, a few weeks later, we had a whole sit down with the whole NICU team and all the specialists. The cardiologist was there, the fetal surgeon was there, neonatologist. I mean, it was a room full of 20 people. They went over her MRI results and they found out that a third of her liver was up as well. So, along with being left-sided and her liver was up, we knew then that it was pretty severe. They never could tell us exactly how big the hole was. We didn't find that out until her repair surgery. Um, but I was up there about every 2 weeks, and I was a scheduled C-section because my first daughter was breech, so I had a C-section with her. And from the beginning, I knew I was going to just want a C-section again. And then the day she was born, we were admitted, and I was a ball of nerves. They talked us through everything, but it was still very new. And she was born, and she had two cries before they were able to intubate her. And then she also they had a hard time putting some of her lines in because she was just fighting them and didn't want them to be poking and prodding on her. So that was kind of funny. But so after she was born, she went to the NICU and I went to my recovery room and she was immediately put on the oscillator. and she was kind of struggling. And for the first 24 hours, she was really struggling, and the neonatologist forewarned us that ECMO was a very, very high possibility. The next morning, my husband got up and went to our room, and she did not do very good overnight, and they said they've scheduled her ECMO procedure to be done that morning. So she was on ECMO within 24 hours of being born, and at Children's Mercy, their procedure is after 24 hours after ECMO, they do their repair surgery. So that following day, she got her repair surgery on day 3 of life, and we found out that she had almost no left diaphragm whatsoever. They used the Gore-Tex patch, and they had to attach part of it to her rib. But she did fairly well for the surgery. And then after that, it was just kind of everyday life for NICU and for ECMO. So it was it was a roller coaster for sure. She was fine 1 hour, then her blood gases would go down, then they would go up, and then they would go down. I mean, it was, when they say it's a roller coaster, it is actually a roller coaster ride. It's hour by hour. And then she spent 25 days on ECMO, which is a lot longer than any CDH baby that they've ever had there. They called her the baby with 9 lives because there was just one thing after another. She had a few chest tubes here and there, but finally we had to make the decision to see if ECMO was actually helping her or not, because the risks were starting to outweigh the benefits with the possibility of brain bleeds and just, being dependent on the machine. So her doctors, during rounds, I mean, they were in there for probably a good hour and a half for rounds, going back and forth on the risks and the benefits, and they came to the conclusion that it was time to get her off. So for her decannulation surgery, she did not tolerate that at all. So it took them a little bit longer than expected, and when they finally came and got us, they warned us that she was going to be on a paralytic for a while to get her SATs stabilized. And so we stayed that night. It was kind of bumpy. She was up and down. And then we decided to go home the next day, because she had done fine. But over the course of the night, she dropped pretty bad, and they just couldn't stabilize her. They did another chest tube, and just nothing was helping. So they told us that we needed to come back. So we called our family and told them that she wasn't going to make it through the day. And my brothers live in Arkansas and in Chicago, so they both drove in as fast as they could. And my parents were there. My husband's parents were there. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law were there. She was still on the high frequency, so they normally don't let parents hold them because the tubes are so stiff. But they made an exception and let us do it. So I held her for the first time the day she died. And everybody got to hold her. My brother-in-law's a pastor, so he baptized her. And one of my brothers didn't make it, but he was okay with that. The other one came right before she died, and she died in my arms at 6:23 that evening on August 16th. And we just spent the night there and held her and gave her a bath. And yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I just don't have any other words except I'm sorry. There's literally nothing you can say that's comforting, and
Yeah.
I I just wish so much that you had a different outcome, and that she was on camera with you right now, and it's not fair that she's not, and I'm very sorry.
Thank you. It's really hard, but I really do believe that she was here to have me be the volunteer that I am for you guys. And if I didn't have, I mean, if she was here, I would probably still do as much as I could, but I could not do as much as I am doing. And I wish I could do more, but it's
You
not even the first year.
no, you're doing a lot, and normally we don't allow parents to volunteer for a year just because it takes time. But you were so adamant. And
I was persistent.
you were very persistent, and I'm glad that we relented because you're an amazing volunteer. You really are.
Thank you.
And you came in at a time where we were completely overwhelmed and desperately needed help, and you just filled in the blanks for us, and you've done an amazing job on the awareness committee. You really have, and we thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And I know you're making her proud, and I know everything you do is for her, and hopefully we can work together with all the other volunteers and all the other charities so that we can raise enough awareness so no one else has to tell a story like that again. That's
Yeah.
the goal. Is there anything you would like to say to everyone before I let you go?
Just that I feel like awareness is key, and that awareness brings people together, and realizing that we can't do it alone and we need everybody's help. And that brings in funds, which brings in money for research, and hopefully we can figure out what's causing this.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mary Kate, for sharing, for the story, for all your volunteering, for doing this when the pain is still so raw.
Yes.
You're a very strong woman, and very grateful to know you. And I hope someday I get a chance to give you a hug, because
I'll be in Nashville.
great. Okay, good. All right, well then.
Yep.
In July. Perfect.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Dawn. Bye.
Hi, my name is Tawny Catane, and I just wanted to say that April 19th is Happy CDH Awareness Day. It is an illness that affects 1,000 children a year, killing 50% of them, which should not happen. And if there's anything that we can do to help these kids, we need to get on it. So if on April 19th you can tweet, Facebook, Instagram, that it is CDH Awareness Day, to make the people that don't know aware of what is going on with these children. It would really help us a lot. Also, your funds, your donations that you can make at www.cdhi.org would really help as well. Again, thank you so much for listening and for opening up your hearts and your minds and being a little bit more aware today than maybe we were yesterday. Have a great one, you guys. Bye.
Hi, everybody. Kyle Louder here. Did you know that April 19th is International Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Awareness Day, otherwise known as CDH? Well, it affects over 1,600 kids a year in the U.S. with only a 50% survival rate. So go to www.cdhi.org, help out in any way that you can, and give these kids a chance. Thanks so much.